love the illusion of control until the storm arrives. The great Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it."
The quality of life is kind of determined by how well we are prepared to welcome opportunities and how effective we are willing to even take them. I think the same thing goes with challenges, which other people might call a struggle, and I think word choice here is pretty important because one is self-inflicted and one is pretty much determined by, let's say, the kind of dreams that you have, because you cannot expect to have a good life or a good quality life, let's say, and a fabulous life without the flip side happening, which is the challenges that come along with it. But now the problem is which I think we do most of the time, is we expect the good things, but we never really are prepared to develop the strength, go through the challenges to get or be worth of deserving that which we aspire to have, which is the good life in this way, or even being a good person. Because I mean, you cannot really know if you are patient if you haven't gone through something that actually triggers your potential impatience, you know. So it's the coin side of the other aspiration, let's say. And one thing I've also realized is the very same thing that people regard as affirmations is basically declaring how you want your life to be, how you want your day to be at a granular level. But the only problem is you can only fake a certain thing up to a certain point. You know, you cannot pretend to be something if you don't feel it deep inside your bones that you are indeed that thing. Because the same thing with challenges, for example, right? If you don't pretty much believe that you can get through a challenge without being broken down into complete nothingness, then you can definitely develop the mental fortitude to go through whatever it is that you need to go through. But I think the problem now comes with not being able to welcome that. And I think we have to embrace the mystery, because we don't really know what it means to welcome a challenge, you know, as it comes, until you actually go through what the challenge actually was, and until you see yourself as a character, let's say, in a game, going through that particular stage in your life. You know what I mean? So I think the way that we appreciate life is determined by how well we are willing to accept what comes along with it. It depends on our aims, which is why people like Jordan Peterson are very prominent speakers, because he touches on the very heart of, let's say, our civilization, our aim, basically. And when he talks about individual responsibility, how it also develops over time, and how well that develops over time, and how one person, depending on how well they carry the baton on their shoulder and willing to take on challenges that come along with life, how well that person is going to live. But also, we are not independent, and we can never be independent. I mean, we must be willing to welcome challenges in life. And embarrassing as sometimes it may be, we sometimes have to do it as a group. You know what I mean? You have to get support from people. But if you don't, the divine is there to help you. That's one thing I love about life. You are never alone, even if you think you are. Even if you are trying to isolate yourself, there's punishment for that, you know. So I think the very heart of life is that we must unite, and we must be willing to accept what life comes with, because I mean, as the Bible says, He knew us before we were born. So I think sometimes we inflict stress upon ourselves because we fail to accept or welcome the mystery that comes along every day is a mystery, every minute, every hour, every year, you know, every decade. So we must be willing to accept the fact that life is gonna show us its beauty if we are willing to accept the